Morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Good Chodesh.
Good and Chodesh.
We're learning Mishnah Shabbos, Parak Yudalid, chapter 14, Mishnah Gimel, Mishnah 3. I'd like to dedicate our learning this morning. Remember my mother, Mrs. Shalom Rabinowitz, Shalom Esmes Rav Yaakov Eliezer. Our learning should be an aliyah for Neshama. Okay, this Mishnah is going to begin discussion about taking medications on Shabbos. The Rabbanan, the Chachamim forbade taking medications on Shabbos in a situation where you're just trying to alleviate some kind of a discomfort. If you're actually sick, meaning like bedridden, or if we have a question of danger to life, then this prohibition doesn't apply. But we're talking about where the prohibition does apply, like just to relieve a minor discomfort, or just to relieve a discomfort. And the reason why the Chachamim forbade taking medication on Shabbos was because we're afraid if you can take medication, you may come to make your own medication by grinding up certain type of herbs that were used for medicinal purposes. So if you could take medication on Shabbos, somebody observing that might think that you could actually prepare the medication on Shabbos by grinding up herbs, which would be the malacha, the forbidden act of teichen of grinding. And therefore the Chachamim said, you may not take medications on Shabbos. So Mishna Gimel reads, Ein oichlin ezev yoin b'Shabbos. There's a type of ezev. Ezev is a hyssop. Ezev yoin was a certain type of hyssop that we say you cannot eat it on Shabbos because it is not the food of healthy people. Healthy people do not eat this kind of hyssop. The Bartanura says the purpose of eating this hyssop was to basically kill the worms in your stomach. So therefore,
ivermectin.
Okay, so it's not, and that's the only thing it was eaten for, and therefore, if you eat it on Shabbos, it's going to be very clear that why you're eating it for medicinal purposes, and therefore you cannot eat it. But you could eat something called yoy ezer. Yoy ezer is explained as again, it's also some kind of, let me just see here. Some kind of a plant, I guess, that was used. In this case, it was eaten for the purposes of getting rid of worms in your liver. So here we say, if on Shabbos you want to eat this yoy ezer to cure your liver, okay, and apparently it wasn't a danger to life. If you want to eat this yoy ezer to cure your liver on Shabbos, you may. Why? Because healthy people also ate yoy ezer. So any kind of a food that you're taking for medicinal purposes, but people eat it regularly, so therefore it's not recognizable that you're taking it for medicinal purposes, you could take it even for medicinal purposes. And there's something called Veshaisa Abuvroya. Abuvroya was a certain type of a branch. It was a certain type of a branch that grew without any kind of, it was just like it was a, it was a plant that grew without any kind of branches, any kind of stems, or it was a kind of a tree that just grew straight up, no branches to it. Used to soak it in water, and that they used to drink for that. There was also a cure. What was it a cure for? For Mayim Megulim. Mayim Megulim means uncovered water, which in times of the Mishnah there was you're not allowed to drink Mayim Megulim because of the fact we were concerned that a poisonous snake or something, even a tiny little thing, a poisonous little tiny snake may come and drink from it and put venom in it. It would be dangerous. And if somebody were to drink uncovered water, they would give him this avubroya to counteract the venom or any kind of potential danger in the water. This also is something that you can take on Shabbos for the medicinal purpose. And I guess, again, this is not a question. It's interesting. I just thought about this. If the concern is that the snake put poison in it, it would seem like it's sakanas nefashos. So it really shouldn't be a question.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have nothing. It shouldn't have anything to do with the fact that healthy people also drink it. But I guess there's a certain level of it that's not a danger to life. But you want to cover all your bases. That would be considered taking medicine. Nonetheless, we say that you could take it because healthy people drink it also, and therefore it's not recognizable that you're taking medication. And when is that not recognizable that you're not taking medication? The Chachamim did not apply their decree against taking medicine because the whole reason The whole decree was if somebody sees you taking medicine, that person who's not very knowledgeable is going to think you could actually prepare the medicine on Shabbos itself by grinding up herbs. But if when he sees you doing this, he doesn't see it as medicine, then there's no concern that he's going to take a lesson from what you're doing and therefore think that he can grind up herbs for medicine on Shabbos. And therefore, when it came to this decree, once basically the whole reason for it wasn't applicable, they didn't apply it. Now, the Mishnah continues and kind of reiterates what was just said before. All foods a person can eat for medicinal purposes, and it can drink any liquid, meaning, so again, we're talking about where you're eating for medicinal purposes, but the food or the drink that you're taking is not one that's recognizable that it's for medicinal purposes, because healthy people take it also. And here on the bottom, they say that the point here, the Mishnah is to say that even the types of foods or drinks that are occasionally consumed by healthy people, it's not like regular, it's occasional, but even an occasional use by healthy people is enough to say that you can take medicinal purposes on Shabbos because it's not recognizable you're taking medicine. So any food a person could take for refuah, any drink that again is at least occasionally drunk by healthy people, chutz mimei dekalim v'chais ikrim, mipnei shehein li'roika. The exception is called mei dekalim, which literally means palm tree water, and chais ikrim means literally translated means a cup of sterility. Now, sterility.
Okay.
Now, and the reason why you can't drink this is mipnei shehein li'roika, because they are used for jaundice and are not drunk by healthy people. Now, what that means is like this. Here again, we're citing examples of things that you cannot say people look at you doing it and say you're only doing it because healthy people do it also. Being that mei dekalim was a certain water in Eretz Yisrael that grew, that actually flowed between certain palm trees. And it was actually used as a laxative. And that's what it was used for. And therefore, although it's a drink, if you drink it and you're drinking it for medicinal purposes, you can't do that because you can't take medicine on Shabbos. And typically people don't drink it for other than medicinal purposes. And therefore, if you take it, you cannot drink it for medicinal purposes. The same thing by this kais ikrim. Now, this kais ikrim was really a potion of a certain type of tree sap and a certain type of grass with something called charkoim. Charkoim is, just one second, saffron. Okay, charkoim is saffron, and the people used to drink this. Why do they drink it? They drink it to cure jaundice, and it also was drunk to, let's say, a woman was having an abnormal blood flow. They would drink it to stop it from happening. Now, a side effect of that was the possibility of sterility. People still took it, but there was a possibility that's going to happen to you. And that's why I got the name kaishikrim, the cup of sterility. So again, this is an example of the kind of a food. But again, this was not a kind of a food that, the ones before that we mentioned that sometimes occasionally people would drink it. The reason that only occasionally drink it is because it could have some kind of a side effect. But occasionally people drink it, and therefore those you would be able to take on Shabbos as medicine because, again, occasionally people take it regularly. Here, these things people don't take regularly. They're only taking either for jaundice or for this flowing problem, for this abnormal flow, or for the to cure constipation, and therefore you cannot take these things on Shabbos for medicinal purposes. Aval, however, you could drink this palm tree water if you're thirsty. If that's why you're drinking it, even if normally people don't drink it regularly, but you're drinking it not for medicinal purposes, there's no din that says, well, since most people drink it for medicinal purposes, you can't drink it at all. No. If you're drinking it because you decide that you want to, take this, you're thirsty and this is all you have to drink and you'll deal with the repercussions afterwards, and you're not taking it for medicinal purposes, it's permissible to do. So that's what it means. About shaisu made the kalam mitzmai. But you could drink this palm tree water for your thirst. V'sach shaben ikrin shalei refuah. And you could also anoint yourself with shemen ikarin. That's not for the purposes of refuah. Now here, ikarin comes from the word root. This was a certain type of oil mixed with extracts of spices and vegetables. Okay. It had a medicinal purpose. It would seem that it was typical to have a medicinal purpose. So you use a medicinal purpose. But if you decide to anoint yourself with it, for not for medicinal purposes, you're allowed to do it. So that's the point of the Mishnah is that we have certain foods that if you want to take them for medicinal purposes, it's going to depend. If at least occasionally healthy people take it, you can take it because it's not recognizable that you're taking medication. There are other things you cannot take for medicinal purposes when it's very clear that you're taking it for medicinal purposes because healthy people don't take it, don't partake of these things at all. But if somebody healthy does that, but if somebody healthy does decide to take these kinds of things that are typically used for medicinal purposes, and he's taking it not for medicinal purposes, he's allowed to do so. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful Chodesh.
Thank you, Rabbi.
So do occasionally people drink